Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Tuesday Night Live show for April 12th, 2022. Our special guest tonight is Breitenbach, Mrs. Kamie Claus, who will be joining us from Colorado, so please stay with us. This is going to be an informative show. We'll have more right after the break. This is Tuesday Night Live. Welcome back to tonight's show. This last week was a long, tough week for many of us. We're glad to be back after being off last week. Give a warm welcome to my co-host, Santa Barry Cummins.
Hey, glad to be with y'all tonight. Hope everybody's doing well. Thank you for being with us here on Tuesday night.
And everyone say hello to the world famous elf Angela Mack, who celebrated her 42nd birthday yesterday. All right, so guys, here we are, week 14, season 2. And our guest tonight, Mrs. Kamie Claus, will be coming up in a few. As many of you know, here on the Tuesday Night Live show, we have been heartbroken by the loss of our Daisy Mae. Mrs. Christmas Carol and I traveled to Missouri to her celebration of life, where we had over 100 folks gathered to celebrate the life of Gloria Grimsley. We want to thank everyone who attended, prayed, sent condolences to Spangle and Daisy Mae's family. Barry, over to you.
All right, everyone. First, reach over there, give us a like and share, help build the stream and help build the viewership in the show. And later on in the show, we will be giving away those 2 scholarships for the School of Santas in 2022 in Branson, Missouri. And they will be known as the Daisy Mae Memorial Scholarship. So good luck with that. And now the first half of the Tuesday Night Live show, trivia, sponsored by Derek Dugan, Sleigh Driver Apparel Company. Thank you so much, Derek. All right, tonight's trivia question is clown trivia. The McDonald's trademark application for the character Ronald McDonald dates to what year? The McDonald's trademark application for the character Ronald McDonald dates to what year? Good luck on answering those.
That's correct. And remember, if you've won in the last 30 days, you are in timeout and are not eligible to play tonight with us, but give others a chance to at winning some trivia and some gifts.
Good seeing everybody joining us tonight. Appreciate y'all being here.
That's correct. It's a stormy night here in North Texas. We're under tornado watch and a severe thunderstorm warning. So if our weather radio goes off, just ignore it. All right, Barry, you ready?
Yep, we're ready. Tonight's guest joins us from Parker, Colorado, where her and her husband, Steve, has lived for 32 years. In November 1973, they were married at a Presbyterian church in Cornersville, Indiana, and they didn't send out any invitations. Somehow it turned into a standing room only event, and even the pastor was heard saying, "I wished I could pass the offering plate," and that's funny right there. But anyway, they've lived in New York, Illinois, and now Colorado. Please welcome tonight's special guest, Mrs. Kamie Claus, Kim Breitenbach. Glad to be with you tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Hi, Kamie. How are you? And welcome to the show.
I'm glad to be here.
Very good. I guess let's get started off by getting to know you better. You mentioned Steve worked for the division of General Motors and was why you had to move around so much in the early years.
Yes.
After landing in Colorado, you spent 8 years in special education at Northeast Elementary.
Yes.
You said there was so much more to this next story, but the point is, that you never know when you might make a difference in someone else's life. Tell us the story about the phone call you received a few years ago related to that.
Well, back up a little bit. We had a little gal at the school that's not on our caseload, but she had attention deficit disorder, hyperactivity, and was living a really hard life. Her dad remarried, and the stepmother did not care for the little girl at all. And the little girl wanted a horse. So the dad said, well, he'd get her a horse, but he had to build a pen around for the horse. And they speculate what happened was he went to the store on his way home from work one night and got a post hole digger and decided to try it out before he went in the house and changed his clothes. And his necktie got caught in the post hole digger, and it killed him. So now we've got this little girl who's living with a stepmother who didn't like her in the first place. And she would come to school, and it looked like she just tumbled out of bed. So I started having her come in to the special ed room and started doing her hair every morning. Then her stepmother sent her away to live with her grandmother in Tennessee. But I got a call from her probably 5 years ago or so, and she said, is this a Mrs. Breitenbach that was at Northeast Elementary? And I said, well, yes, it is. And she said, I wanted to thank you. You're the only person I remember from out of anybody at that school, because you cared for me and you helped me with my hair every day. And the reason I helped her with her hair was because she would have been made fun of more than normal. So those are one of those things that you don't know how you've touched somebody. I wouldn't have known that made a difference in her life. And so now she's an educational assistant like I am. And she said she's trying to take care of her caseload the way I took care of her. So you just never know when you're going to touch somebody else's life and make a difference. You just got to always be there and be open.
That is so true. And it is such a great story. You know, that's one of the lessons that we all can learn from as Santas, Mrs. Clauses, and working within the industry, because we touch so many children's lives throughout our careers.
Yeah.
You just never know when you're going to make a difference.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've worked in many capacities in Parker, from the recreational center to the town hall to Parker Police Department, before moving to the Chamber of Commerce and becoming the director of Signature Events, where you retired. You have since went back to work, but your ties to the city led Mayor Gary Lassiter to ask you to help on a new program called Books and Toys for Boys and Girls. This is where your story begins as Mrs. Claus. Tell us the chain of events that brought you to the role of Mrs. Kamie Claus, and I've got a follow-up after that.
Well, at the time, I was the receptionist at Parker Town Hall, and the sun is really getting in my eyes here. And so I talked to everybody who came in, and the mayor came in often, and we became good friends. And he was telling me he was starting this program, the Books and Toys for Boys and Girls, and he was putting together everything in the evenings. And then they would be taking him to his wife's school, to the Title I, which is the low-income folks, kids. So one day he said, you know, I'm over at the chapel every night sorting these toys. If you ever want something to do and have some time to come down and help. Well, you don't have to ask me twice to come down and help. That's my thing. So we sorted all these toys. We got all these books together, and they were taken to the schools. And I took vacation days to get off work to be able to go help him. I was tickled to be asked. And at the first school we went to, the toys are all lined up on all these tables by grade level. And this one little boy came up to us and said, excuse me, Santa, would it be okay if I got a book for my little brother? He doesn't have any books of his own, and it may be his only Christmas present. Well, Mrs. Claus was born right there, because it made a difference that child was able to get something, not for himself, but for somebody else. It was just a great feeling. And I've been Mrs. Claus ever since.
Okay, so also tell us about the point that you made keeping your eyes and ears open.
You never know when an opportunity is going to come by. And if you're just off in your own little world, thinking in your own head, you're going to miss a lot of things that come by. Just, you have to be there. You have to smile with your eyes, and you just be aware of all your surroundings. And when you see something that you might be able to help with, just jump right in and don't wait to be invited.
That's a great point.
It is. Kim is a professional volunteer. Tell us about the two trips to Gulfport, Mississippi, following Hurricane Katrina, where you traveled the coast, visiting and helping police departments. And what was your most memorable moments about those trips?
Oh, the destruction was more than I expected. I haven't been in that kind of a situation before, but I worked for the police department at the time, and my church was going to go there, and our pastor's brother worked at the police, was a policeman at the department. So we got in touch, and I had mailed them a whole bunch of our old uniforms and things, so they had something to wear professionally. Well, they came back. Nobody made the trip to the town a couple hours away to pick them up. So I called and said, well, you didn't get them, so I'm going to bring them. And they said, what do you mean you're going to bring them? I said, well, we're coming down with the church, and I'll bring the uniforms and bring them over to the office, and it should work out real well. Well, so I met with the police officers. They didn't want the uniforms. They've gotten used to wearing jeans and T-shirts and being comfortable. But we went ahead and did all those things. But I lost my train of thought here. We found that I had a training program, and this is where a miracle happened that I just can't forget it. We were, I was explaining this training program that I was using to the other ladies in the police departments and gentlemen, and they said, boy, they really sounded like a program they could really benefit from and rebuild their records. So I went back. We were staying at the Youth for Christ headquarters. And so I got on the phone and called one of the gals back at the Parker Police Department, said, go get my notebook for the training. And on the front sheet, there's a phone number. I need that phone number. So I called this guy and explained that I was in Gulfport and would like to know if there's any way we could help these people with their record keeping and get things started. And he said, well, that's interesting. So my wife just got back from somewhere else with the hurricane, and he understood the problems. So he said, what I need from you is I need some place where I can send the file. And it's a large file. Well, I'm on a barracks here. Well, while I was sitting there on the phone, the director for Youth for Christ walked right in front of me. And I said, oh, excuse me. Is there any way you can help this guy with downloading this program? So she got on the phone and she talked to him about how to download everything. And we did that. And then it was, well, you're going to need a printer to print these booklets to take to the different people so they have reference. And I looked at the gal and I said, can you print it? She said, no. But right on the other side of the building where you're staying is a printing press. And they could sure use the business. So that's another one. God put this all together. I didn't. And we got those training programs, and I went all up and down the coast, setting them up on computers and getting them going and how they work. And one of the funniest thing was in past Christian, the office moved to a trailer because the department was destroyed. But outside, they had two porta potties, and they were labeled Cell 1 and Cell 2. I just thought that was great. So it's fun. But that's just another one where I could have let that gal walk by and have thought about, you've got to, when God puts something in front of you, don't hesitate. jump in there and see what you can do. If it doesn't work out right, at least you've tried. But so many times, if you just go ahead, everything really works out for the better of everybody.
Yeah, God bless you and to all the volunteers that goes to those disaster areas. Because like we were talking earlier, my hometown was destroyed in a 2011 tornado, and just seeing all the people from all over the country and even the world come in and minister to those folks and help clean up and feed, it was just such a blessing.
Yeah. And a lot of work to do. And I fix food for those people every night.
And they were very appreciative of that time of need. I always say the Lord always provides, and He puts you in certain situations and places where you're needed. And so that's a blessing from above for sure.
Yeah, and while we were at the police, one of the police departments, the chief came in and he was not doing well. His dog had become frightened during everything and he felt like the dog was dying. Well, guess what? We had a veterinarian in our group, and they came, examined the dog, overnighted the medicine for it, and the dog made it.
Wow.
Just little things. And somebody else needed a mattress. And we said, oh, what size do you want? The next day we had a mattress delivered. It was just the resources were there, and we were willing to go and see what all the resources were. So when something came up, we're there. And it was a real eye-opener for me as to how the Lord works with crazy people like me.
So how soon after the Katrina had came through did you guys make your way down there to the coastline?
It was probably, I'm thinking it was like 6 weeks. And then we went back after Christmas for a second round. What shocked me was there wasn't any change. I had expected, I don't know, houses to be rebuilt and things, and nothing. It was just too soon. So it took a lot of time, and boy, those first responders, they're just right on it. And one morning I got up early and went out and looked out the door, and I could see this bright glow and had no idea what it was. So everybody else is still asleep. So I go slip some clothes on and slip out the door. Well, the town's on fire. And it's not too far away. So I went in and woke up one of the drivers, said I need the keys. He just gave me the keys, and I went and picked up donuts and took them right down on the scene. But it's like one thing after another, and yet these people are all in good spirits and keeping going. It's exciting and amazing.
Yeah, exactly. First responders always come in first. And that's the reason I asked how long before time had passed before you guys got in down there. Yeah. But as you said, the devastation is so widespread, and it takes a long time just to get the insurance. Adjusters are there on the scene usually pretty quick, but time that everything plays out, it just seems like time creeps by, and those folks are suffering. They have nowhere to be. They've lost everything, and it's just always so sad. The best thing we can all do in those situations and continue to do is pray for folks like that.
Yes. Barry,
you got any follow-ups?
No, that's about it.
All right, so let's take a short breather at this time here, Cam. It's time for the Tuesday Night Live show. Take a break for a special product announcement, so stay with us. We'll be right back. Oh, my goodness, stop the show. It's time for the Tuesday Night Live Showstopper Special. And for this week's Showstopper Special, StufferSanta.com. Do we have Spangle? Yes, we do. Let's go out to Spangle the Clown. Hey, brother, how are you? You're muted. Unmute. Can't hear you.
Hey! I want to, before I do anything, I want to thank everybody that's prayed, sent messages, called, whatever you done, donated, whatever. It means a lot, and I want to thank you all. It means we got a tight knit community here. But anyways, today's special. Check out this stylish hat. This is really nice. These for 2 years in a row, they've sold out at Lone Star. We got more in stock right now. They're a mesh hat. You can kind of so it's not so hot in the summertime. This one says Santa on the back of it. The one I got on my head right now says SC. You can have that for Santa Claus. But if you really like me, you can tell everybody that stands for Spangled Clown. Hey, anyways, these are $20. We're going to give them to you $15. Shipping is normally $9. We're going to ship it for free. You send me $15 or just send me a message. I'll send you a link. $15. You'll have this in your house just a few days.
And this, all right. This sale is good through next Monday, April 18th. And I like the fact that they breathe. Summer's fast approaching. So
let everybody know who you are. That's
correct. Now, I'm going to ask you to do something here. We want you to show everyone the tattoo that you got this week.
Oh, if a lot of people have noticed the pink, and it's on my profile too, and it's on a lot of people's profile, the pink square with the white daisy in there for my love of my life. Anyways, here is the daisy. She's forever with me.
And this is a real tattoo. It's not one of his stick on.
No, it's real.
Yeah, that's the real one. Real.
I had to do it. I love the lady. She's everything to me. She will always be everything to me. And now she's my angel. God bless her.
That's for sure. And what a wonderful tribute we had last Tuesday night. I was so honored to be able to come there and give you our support, men and Carol. And we are so happy to see that you're in good spirits. It's tough. I know what it is, but
every day.
Thank you so much.
I had so many people tell me that was the best funeral service, celebration of life service they'd ever seen or ever been to. And I'm still wondering about the preacher going home and looking underneath his wife's skirt.
That was a wonderful moment. That was so good. And
he said he didn't know what the clown pantaloons were and if they were under everyone's skirt. So he said he had to go home and look underneath his wife's skirt to see if she had pantaloons so he could find out what they were.
That was so good. I mean, the place erupted when he said that. And, of course, Steve did a great job on his portion of speaking, as well as Hope and Darla. They did a fantastic job.
You all did good. And all I hope is I made her proud. I mean, she deserved the best, and I tried to give her the best.
Absolutely, and you did. You fulfilled that. That was so good. Okay, so much for all that. Let's move on to the this week's trivia.
$15.
Let's run the banners real quick, and then we'll come right back after this. Okay. Will the caps fit a size 7 3/4 massive head?
Actually, look, check this out. It is adjustable on both sides. I forgot to mention that. Both sides is adjustable.
Very good, Charlie. There's your answer. Here we go.
Both sides.
You are watching the Tuesday Night Live show with Bob Berry and Angela. Sponsored by StuffForSanta.com and SchoolOfSantas.com, where you can find everything you need to support your Santa and Mrs. Claus business. Remember, if Spangle ain't got it, it doesn't exist. So contact Spangle at StuffForSanta.com today. Now back to the show.
All right, Spike, give us the trivia question.
All right, it's trivia time, and I know a lot of you are going to think that Spangle is the answer to this question. But see, the key to this question is the word first. I was not the first one. I was just one of. But anyways, who was America's first great white-faced clown? And I hate to disappoint you, it's not Spangle. Spangle was not the first.
And remember, guys, if you won Spangle's trivia question in the last 30 days, you are in timeout. So give someone else a chance to get in on this one. This is the stuffforsanta.com, schoolforsantas.com trivia question.
And we are almost full at the school. I mean, we're like around 100 people already, man. Come and enjoy this party. So who was America's first great white-faced clown?
Already seeing a right answer up there. Got it faster than I thought.
Yeah, that was pretty quick, wasn't it? Well, very good. So we'll offer the timestamp on those and make sure we will give the correct answer for both the trivia questions towards the end of the show, and will be revealed tomorrow on the Sat Bob's Live, the official announcement of who the winner is. At that time, we'll reach out to you to get your address so we can get your gifts to you. All right, Spangle brother, we want to thank you so much. So much love for you has been shown by the community, and it does our heart good. We love you. Thank you so much, and God bless you, Spangle.
Thank you, guys.
See you,
See
buddy.
you soon.
Bye.
All right, Cam, let's get back into it. Let's jump on into the second part of the show here. You're active in your community as a member of the Cherry Creek Valley Rotary Club of Parker. And this past year, you won several awards. Talk about those awards and your different roles in the Rotary and what they mean to you.
Gosh, I've been in about every role in Rotary, and I'll be the president starting July 1st this year for the next year, and I'm busy planning for the year. But yeah, I won the Rotarian of the Year last year from our club, and then the Active Senior Award, which I guess means I really am old, from the Boulder Rotary Club. And then from Highlands Ranch Rotary Club, I got the membership award for bringing in a ton of members. And what I want to tell you about the Rotary Club is in 2010, I started a group. It was called, became a Rotary Community Corps, which is a Rotary Corps for people who either can't afford to be in Rotary, or they just don't have the resources or the time. But my group was different. My group was for the developmentally disabled teens and adults. And in last year, we became the first Rotary Club ever, where they're now real Rotarians, for adults with developmental disability. And these guys rock. We get together once a month for dinner, and then we do service projects. Our next service project is going to be backpacks and school supplies for the Parker Task Force in town, which knows which kids need the extra help. School supplies have gotten so expensive that it really helps. So I write a grant, and then my Rotary Club paid half, and the district grant will pay the other half to pay for all the supplies. The kids will come together, the members, and they'll fill all of those bags up. They really like giving back. And just 2 months ago, one of the girls came up and she said, I was downtown Denver and I saw these homeless people. We got to help them. What can we do? And I said, well, I guess we could get blankets. Well, it turns out, so we decided we'd do that. And it turned out that not only wanted the blankets, they want socks. So this past week, those kids filled up a trunk full of donated socks and blankets that they did on their own. And it's taken that group, the people in town know them. They have sometimes asked them to come and help out at things. And these guys show up. You go to a regular Rotary meeting and you have maybe 30% membership there. This is like 98% membership all the time.
Yes.
They just love coming. And I've gone to other clubs to try to get them to start a club based on this with all the information, and it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. So nobody else has done it.
Things that are worth doing, though, and that's such a noble cause and such a great story. I love that. And times are tough right now. The economy has, tanked, and everything is costing so much more, 40 to 50% more.
Oh, yeah.
It is so wonderful.
And
Barry?
when I was trying to tell the other kids, I said, now Rihanna came up with this idea. It wasn't me. And she wanted to see it fall through. I said, there's no reason the rest of you can't come up with different ideas on things to help instead of my having to do everything. And they're coming around. It's good.
Well, Kim, let's switch gears here. You said the most enjoyable thing you've done over the past 20 years is portray Mrs. Claus at Christmas time. You not only work as a solo Mrs. Claus this past year, but with also 9 different Santas. Talk about what it's like working with so many different Santas.
Oh, it's all fun. They all have different personalities. A lot of you know Tom Carmody. There is nobody that has a bigger heart for Santa than Tom. And the kids, he really wants them to have a good opportunity and time to chat with them. And he's just great to work with. And then there's Santa Brian. He's just as sharp as can be. And McPherson, all of them, they all have different personalities. But one of the things I wanted to point out is I had some new Santas this year that I'd never worked with before or whatever. And they get in their chair and they're happy to see the people. Well, I'm sitting there and I know they're not here to see me. They're here to see Santa. I'm just there to keep things going smoothly. Well, we had the kids would come up and get their picture taken. They had a professional photographer at this one place. And then they'd want to go eat. Well, I finally stopped that and got up and started and would talk to the moms in the group and say, there's an opportunity here for you that you can't pass up. You've got both sets of grandparents here with you today, and you and your husband are here. We need a group picture. You can do the whole group together, or you can do just different sets of grandparents with you. But you get a copy of that picture and you wrap it up, put it in a frame, wrap it up for Christmas. And that's just the best thing you can do. And they'll go, oh, that's a great idea. So that's where I come in, is seeing different things. And unfortunately, because of my, I went through a lot of training at the Parker Police Department when I worked there. I am always looking at the crowd and making sure everything is running smoothly. And it's just ingrained in me. I can't sit with my back to a crowd, and I want to make sure everybody is safe. Safety is key.
That is a great point on the safety deal. Too many people, don't pay attention to that, and you have to a lot of times because you work short-staffed on a lot of sets.
Yeah, and there was one place, there's a museum we used to do, and they had and I had worked there too. I've worked everywhere, and they had a balcony. So Santa's up on stage, and there's this balcony. I tell you what, an active shooter could have just popped right in there, and being able to watch that and make sure nothing happened. I just felt that was my purpose. And Santa didn't even know.
A lot of guys wouldn't even think about that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And then it's like Santa Brian, for example, how he uses me. It's really clever. Is the kids will come up, say, on his left side and visit with him, and I'm sitting on his right side. Well, you got to keep the line going. So he'll say, well, Tommy, why don't you stop over and give Mrs. Claus a hug? She has a candy cane. Now, what did that child hear? Mrs. Claus has candy.
Yeah.
So that's the way to move somebody else without saying, okay, your time's up, and move along. It's just a real interesting way to get the kids just to keep going smoothly.
Good
So
point.
thank you, Santa Brian.
Now, you found that visiting senior living facilities and hospitals that Alzheimer's patients all remember the red suit. While they don't always know the difference between Mrs. Claus or Santa, what lessons can you share here from that experience?
Never underestimate who you are or what you're representing. I would go into the this Alzheimer's units are my favorite to go to visit. And they do recognize the red and white. Some think I'm Santa, and others know I'm Mrs. Claus. But I've had staff tell me that some of these patients have smiled for the first time since they've been there. Some of them have talked for the first time since they've been there. I've had them cry because they just can't believe Santa remembered them and came to visit. And I think the Santas and Mrs. Clauses should be in every senior facility they can get into. I know with COVID the past couple of years, we haven't been able to do that. But boy, I sure hope to get back into it this year because it makes a difference, even if they only remember for a few minutes. It's that few minutes of happiness that you can just see, and it's great, just great. So.
Yeah, I know from some of the homes that I've visited in the past, you go in, and of course you have the common area. They're out there playing dominoes or cards, and then you start down the different wards within the hospitals, and it's always the last ward that you go down. It is always the one that's the hardest,
Yeah.
and some of those folks don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of discipline to be able to go in and do those things, but the reward is well worth it. So I highly recommend, if you have not done a senior living facility or a care facility, get out and do it.
You got to do it. And I take them a gift. Everybody I visit, and it's either a blanket that the special needs group have tied the knots on the blankets that you cut out of fleece, or we've done scarves, the same thing. So the special needs group gets involved, and then if I can get a Santa to go with me, fine. If I can't, I just take it on my own and just go right along. And the one, we went Christmas morning one year, and it was the president of the Rotary Club said, oh, he could go with me. His family could wait. And so we started passing out these things. And by the time we got back to the loop, they'd all gone to breakfast in the dining room, and they had blankets on every lap. It was a fun thing to see, that they just appreciated your presence and that you came in, and you got to do it.
Yeah, one good tip for doing those too, make sure you hydrate before you go in, because a lot of the patients stay cold, and usually the temperatures are a little warmer in those rooms and everything. So you do sweat in those Santa costumes.
Yeah.
Great tip.
Good point.
Kim, share some Mrs. Claus tips for working with special need children, and how can these tips be applied to Santa as well?
You got to treat them like they're everybody else. You don't treat them differently. They're children, and they may be adults, but still act like children. You just accept them for where they're at. You don't put a label on them. You don't dummy things up. You just be yourself and be very open. Now, all my special needs kids know I'm Mrs. Claus, so I'll generally at some point show up in my outfit and stuff just because they get a kick out of it. But the special needs they want to see Santa too. And some of them can't sit still long enough. But if you can be there and walk around a little bit, it's just a very open thing. And I think when I was growing up, all these special needs folks, they were around, but they were kept in their houses and nobody saw them. And now we're out in the open, and I don't think my generation always knows what to do with this group because they see them as different. Don't see them as different, but you may need to talk slower. You may need to lower your voice a little bit and just roll with it. Those kids love it.
It's a great tip.
Yes, they are. I'm lucky enough to work with special needs through the school district at the mall that I'm at, and I have found the same things that you was just saying, that are a necessity. Treat them the same. Give them your undivided attention.
Right.
Make sure that you make eye contact with each one if they're willing to do that. Some are shy, some are not to that level. It depends on what level that they're at. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And one of the tips I read not too long ago was for like my granddaughter was so afraid of Santa and wouldn't come up. And they said, you need to get a picture of Santa. And every night, this is for 6 months before Christmas, start having the child put a cotton ball on that picture. So by the time Christmas is there, Santa's got the full beard and they're not so afraid of it. Have you ever heard that?
I've never heard that before.
I hadn't either, but it makes sense to me.
It does.
It really does. Okay, so what are some of the things that Santa needs to know about Mrs. Claus if he's never worked with a Mrs. Claus?
That we understand the children are not necessarily there to see us. They're there to see Santa. Use us to make a smooth transition. And it may be they need to come and talk to Mrs. Claus, who doesn't have a beard, and get warmed up before they move on to Santa. And some of them may never move on to Santa, but a majority will. If you give them an opportunity, don't make them feel like they have to see Santa. I don't like crying children having to sit on Santa's lap. I would rather they stand up. Or Tom has a great idea, Carmody. He will get up out of the chair, and I'll get up out of the chair and go behind the chair or the bench, whatever's there, and have Santa and have the family sit in the Santa area. And we're behind where the children don't see us. So the children are turned away and they don't realize, because we sneak in behind, and you get a great picture.
Those are always a great way to get that photo when they want to sit with you.
Yeah.
Can you share some ways that you and a Santa communicate when you're working together?
Oh, a lot of laughter and a lot of chit chat. I find some of the Santas don't understand that you can get out of the chair. You don't have to just sit there and move around a little bit. And if you get up, they'll get up. And you can change the atmosphere very simply. So you just try to take the lead a little bit on that. But always remember, it's Santa they want to see.
I don't know if this has ever happened with you or not, but have you ever had failures working as Mrs. Claus? And what did you learn from the experience of something that may not have went just right?
I haven't. Things have always gone smoothly.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Can you share success working as Mrs. Claus and what you learned from that success?
Well, let me tell you about, I set up a reunion type event last year here in Parker, and I invited all the Santas that I had on a list and all the Christmas characters. We had 20 Santas show up and 30 other Mrs. Clauses and elves, and we took some pictures here at my office building and then walked through town and had pictures taken and so forth, and then we all went to lunch. That was very well received by the public and everybody else. But since I worked for the chamber, I was able to get the mayor to come and do a welcoming. And then we had the chamber did a ribbon cutting, and it made it a real community type event, which was fun. We're going to change it up a little bit this year and still be at my office building. We're going to play some games with Santa this time and have, I found some big inflatable dice where the child can roll a dice and the Santa rolls the dice. If the child gets the highest number, they get a bigger prize. And if they get a lower number, they still get a prize. They get something. And then we're talking about doing a little duck pole where you got a number on the bottom of the duck, or maybe use a little net to pull the duck out, however we decide to do it. So there's a lot going on. And I just made this up. So to pay for it, I went to my friends and said, hey, how would you like to buy lunch for Santa? Well, yeah, what do you got going? Oh, yeah, I'll buy 4 lunches. So we were able to buy everybody's lunch last year. This year, we're going to do it for to support the Rocky Mountain Santa's convoy of toys. So the Santas will be, and characters will be paying for their own lunches, but I still will have sponsorships to support the event and pick up any supplies we need. And then the rest of those funds will all go to the Rocky Mountain Santa's Convoy of Toys, which I don't know if you're ready to talk about that or not.
We can hit that here in a minute, but do you discuss with Santa the backstory of you two before working together? Like, maybe your name, how you met, or maybe a meal that you cooked Santa at the North Pole?
Generally not. We just meet at the facility and wing it.
Play it by ear.
Some of those children are so doggone inquisitive, and they'll quiz both of you to try to find out a lot of times.
Well, but a lot of times it's so fast paced that you don't have time for the children to think of all those questions. And then if they do, whatever Santa says, I just agree with. Yeah, that's right.
Very good. Okay, so you just mentioned the Convoy of Toys. I'm a member of Lone Star Santas, and their mission statement and what they do as a 501c3 is disaster relief for children, fires, tornadoes, floods, anything that could possibly go wrong. Go out as second responders and give away toys to those families that are affected. So back in January of this year, you was honored with working with Tom Carmody and the Rocky Mountain Santas to do the first ever Rocky Mountain Santa Convoy of Toys. You want to talk about that?
I do. I was shocked to be asked to join the group, but very honored. It was 4 Santas, and Tom was one of the driving forces. I know you all know Tom because he's on the IBRBS board and he's been on this show. And it took off. There's another guy, Santa Brian, that he gets it. And we have applied for our 501c3. We've got our EIN number. We're incorporated. Everything's going smoothly. But there was a fire where over 100 homes burned to the ground, and these were nice homes. So those kids lost everything they had. Their bed, their Barbies, all their toys, everything was gone. So we teamed up with a couple different organizations, and one was the Salvation Army, who brought in tons of brand new toys. And the kids came on a certain dates. We went twice and picked out the toys they wanted, and then we listened to the stories of the parents, and they were pretty sad. But the difference of those people when they walked in the door to when they left was total transformation. And I'm so glad that the Lone Star Santas have started this and got us started here in the Rocky Mountains, because these disasters, they're going to continue to happen, I'm afraid. And we need to be ready. And now we have resources. We know the Salvation Army will back us. We've got a TV channel, or said, call us. If you do anything, we'll be there for you. So a real salute to the Salvation Army for reaching out and helping too. But these people they're hurting. And a lot of them didn't have total replacement insurance, so they can't exactly afford to even rebuild their houses. So there's a lot going on. And what does it say?
We received our IRS designation today. That's from Tom.
Woohoo! And we got a PayPal account if you want to make a donation. And the Lone Star Santas, Doug Portwood, did come and had lunch with us one day and did bring us a check for $5,000, which just means everything, so we could get all these little things, because everything you apply for comes with a request for a bunch of money. And it's nice to be able to have it to move on. So we're very appreciative of that. And the slogan is to bring love, hope, and joy in toys, all wrapped up in a big Santa hug.
A hug, that's correct.
And it makes a difference. And I'm showing you, these cards were given out to each of the families. I don't know if you see it, but there's the Lucky Santa dollar. And it says, I know you will never forget December 30th, 2021, and I'll always have you and your family in my heart. I hope my visit to the magical second Christmas to remember will leave you with many happy and cherished memories. Love, Santa. And the special and lucky Santa dollar bill is a keepsake for you and your family that will always lift your spirits. And these are so nicely done. It's just pretty awesome. So we are up and running, and the committee is working together. I never saw such a group of people come in. There were 5 or 6 of us, and nobody stepped on anybody's toes. They all did what needed to be done. It just came naturally to most of us. So I would highly recommend that other areas do this, because we're seeing these disasters all over the country, and we need to be ready.
Say, if anyone else is interested in becoming part of the Convoy of Toys, reach out to Glenn Westbury or someone within the board of directors for the Lone Star Santas, and they will get you the information out to be able to sign up with them, and all the steps to get yourself into a Convoy of Toys for your chapter or for your group.
And one of the stories that came out with one of my people I was working with really has troubled me, is the house was burned down, but there were a couple that did not burn down. The house is still standing, but everything is destroyed. They can't have, they don't, they had to get rid of everything. They didn't salvage anything, but because their house is still standing, the little boy was being bullied at school because he still had a house and the others didn't. And we took a lot of pictures, and this mother said, no pictures, because I don't want our picture on Facebook and have people know that I came to get toys, because they don't understand that we lost everything too. So that bullying comes out also. It's just, we're living in a strange time, folks. We got to bring love, hope, and joy to everybody.
Wrapped up in great big Santa hugs. That's correct.
Yes. Yes.
Well, fantastic. We are glad that the Rocky Mountain Santas, Tom Carmody, you and all the others was able to get your designation and get yourself hooked into the Convoy of Toys. It is an excellent program. I've been out on many Convoy of Toys with the Lone Star Santas. You think being Santa is rewarding, and it is, but there's nothing more rewarding than to be able to give toys and listen to those families, not only the children, but even the adults, open up to you and share their story with you, and to be able to walk away at the end of the day and know that you had a small part in helping them. It's so rewarding. I just can't tell you how much. All right, Kim. So at this point, let's go out to our viewers tonight and ask if any of them have questions on either becoming a volunteer or working as Mrs. Claus, since you do both so well.
Okay.
Any questions out there for Cam at this point? I don't know if you can see the comments, but Tom Carmody has filled the right-hand column up here with comments.
I can't see the comments, but I have to tell you anyway, a funny thing happened on the way to the chamber today to do this program. I switched from my regular glasses to my Mrs. Claus glasses. I can't read anything. So it's a little bit of an issue here. So no, I can't see any comments.
Well, one of the comments that Tom put up is, she yells at me, ho, ho, ho.
On the communication.
Yeah. Sometimes he needs to be yelled at.
And remember, folks, if you're not watching the live stream and have a question or comment for our guest, just put it in the comment box, and we'll forward that to our guest and do our best to get those answered for you.
Yeah.
That's correct. So any questions? Anybody got any questions out there?
Melissa's got one. Where do you get your clothes you wear as Mrs. Claus?
Well, I get a lot at the Salvation Army, at the Goodwill store. What I'm wearing today is a Coldwater Creek jacket from the Salvation Army, and a lot of hand-me-downs and things. And then I'll add a little thing to my outfit every year. And I will buy a dress online every 5 years or so.
Most folks don't think about the Salvation Army or Goodwill for costuming, or it's amazing though You can find something for every occasion if you just go look.
You can, and a lot of times, one of the shirts I picked up yesterday still had the tags on it, never
Yeah.
been worn.
You see that a lot. You sure do. And
Yeah.
on the other hand, if you have things that you've outgrown,
Oh.
like want, donate those to Goodwill or Salvation Army. Those are great places to give your stuff away to someone who may enjoy it, need it, or just want it.
Yeah, that's what I do is take my things there, and then I can feel like I can go in and pick up a few other things. But I can't say enough good about the Salvation Army and how they helped us with the convoy of toys. Just good people.
Yes, when you get involved with the Convoy of Toys, of course, you're involved with the Red Cross in so many ways, and so many different groups that are there in the same capacity or a different capacity, but capacity to help those that are in need. And it's like, what do they say? It takes a village to raise a child. Well, it's kind of the same way with the disaster. It takes everyone coming together, working hand in hand to make a difference.
We got a question here, Bob. It says, I go on the view that Santa can do no wrong, so my helpers or Mrs. Claus has to be the bad guy. Am I wrong?
I like that.
I differ with you on that one. I don't know.
Yeah, I think all have to be the good guys when being Santa and Mrs. Claus.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool, Scott. Anybody else got any questions for Kim? All right, Kim, stay with us because before we close the show, we have a segment called Santa's Point of View or Point of View. We use this time as a teaching moment to share tips from our past experiences. Would you do us the honor to use this spot to give our viewers a tip on the importance of being ready?
You've got to be fully costumed and ready to go. When you walk in the door, you are your character, and you do not come out of character until you're safely back in your car or away. I've seen Santas change in a parking lot, all sorts of things. Stay in gear. And the biggest thing to remember is smile with your eyes. And when you smile so that your eyes are twinkling, it makes such a difference. Thank you.
It's a good point.
Very good. So I guess we didn't have any other questions. Love what you do. Awesome guest tonight. That's from Scott Parker.
Thanks, Scott.
Okay, so at this time, let's reveal tonight's trivia answers. For the sleigh driver apparel, the McDonald's trademark application for the character Ronald McDonald dates to what year? That was 1967. That was correct answer on that one, 1967. And to the stuffforsanta.com and schoolofsantas.com trivia question, who was America's first great white-faced clown? That is George G.L. Fox. So if you got those answers correct, you're in the running for that. And now then, let's move on to this.
All right, now here's what we've been waiting for to close to 2 months, not to mention all through tonight's show. It's this time our very own Elf Angela Mack will do us the honor in drawing the two names from the hat and reveal the two winners of the first annual Daisy May Memorial Scholarship, which is a $359 value, non-transferable and only good for the July 2022 School of Santas in Branson, Missouri. Remember, your meals and show tickets are included, but you're responsible for your own travel and hotel costs. So good luck on that.
You may do full screen here.
Yeah, do full screen. All right, here we go, folks. Got the hats, got all the names in it. That was shared over 50 times, and Elf Angela is going to reach in and grab. All right, let's see who we got here. Wait a minute, you're not eligible.
No.
Okay, so we'll play fair. Here's all the other names that are in there. I'm going to shake them all up. Reach in, grab one.
I got one?
I
Okay.
believe you do. Let's see who that is.
Ooh, Thomas L. Myers.
Thomas L. Myers. Thomas L. Myers gets one of the two.
Congratulations, Thomas.
Okay, I don't know if it's showing up good. All right,
Yeah.
ready?
All right, let's do it again. The second scholarship to School of Santas in Branson in July.
Robert Antwine.
Yep, Robert Antoine.
Congratulations, Robert.
Very good. Now, these are non-transferable, so if for some reason you cannot go, before we go, Angela, one more time, as a first alternate, just in case one can't go, this would be a backup, just to make sure we get a couple of folks up to the event. First alternate would be
Charles Adler.
Charles Adler. Very good. All right. Fantastic.
Okay.
Congratulations. We appreciate all y'all playing and doing that for the past 6 weeks.
It was much fun. We enjoyed doing it as much as you guys did. And most of all, we want to thank you so very, very, very much for sharing and liking and commenting that you had done all three. I know that kind of gets old and all, but it's well worth it to get the chance to go up to Branson. All right, you ready, Barry? Go ahead and let's move
All right.
forward.
Invite everyone to share and invite your friends to our weekly Tuesday night live broadcast, as long as they're along with our Bob and Barry preview show that's on Mondays at 3 p.m. Central Time, as well as both of our Facebook groups. You can find us at Santa and the Business of Being Santa and Sat Bob's Live. And Cam, thank you so much for coming on the Tuesday night live show and giving us your time and sharing so much information with us tonight. God bless you and thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Kamie, dear, this has been a fun show and so informative. You have shared so much with us. It's great to get Mrs. Claus's perspective, and I got to tell you, everything that you said tonight was spot on and fantastic. Great for those who are watching. Not only the Mrs. Clauses took something from this, but I know many of the Santas have too. We also want to thank all of our sponsors, and thanks all of you for tuning in and giving us your time and support. Remember, you can catch the recorded replay of this and every Tuesday night live show, as well as the Bob and Barry show on Santa and the Business Being Santa home group and Sat Bob's Live group. So remember to join us for our next Tuesday night live each week, 7 p.m. Central, same Claus time, same Claus channel. Until next week, we want to say thank you again, Cam. Thanks, Barry. Thanks, Elf Angela. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to you at home for watching. God bless. Why do we do this, Barry?
Be Claus Week here. God bless you and see you next week.
That's right. Thanks, everyone.